Das ist der vierte Fall, die Affäre Abbey Grange. Ach, ich wünsche mir so sehr, dass nicht wieder so merkwürdige Sachen mit Rädern, die man drehen muss.
I'll wait for you in the sitting room. I've just received a note from Inspector Lestrade, a letter from the suburbs. He is in need of my presence. Whenever he has asked for my assistance, it has always turned out to be entirely justified. I fancy that every one of his cases has found its way into your collection.
Oh, yes, they all seem worthy of...
However, I regret your fatal habit of looking at everything from the point of view of a story instead of a scientific exercise.
Oh, Holmes, you...
I beg your pardon, I digress. It would be much better to examine this letter than to try to convince you.
Oh Gott, immer diese Frau. Toby, hallo Tobylein, mein Süßer.
I agree with you, Toby, that Watson's shoe is preferable to Mrs. Hudson's cold cuts.
Irgendwie habe ich das Gefühl,
The letter is on the table, Holmes.
Die
I can tell
Einstellung.
from Lestrade's handwriting that he was in a hurry when he wrote this letter. The Brackenstall family coat of arms.
Öffnen. Können wir die nicht aufmachen, Siegel brechen oder so? Okay. Oh. Na
A
bitte.
wax seal with the monogram E.B.
Abbey Grange. Okay.
So, what is it, Holmes?
Promising, as always, it appears to be a case of murder.
So you believe that Sir Eustace is dead?
I should say so. Lestrade wouldn't have sent for me for less. His writing shows considerable agitation, and he is not an emotional man. These people belong to high society. The quality of the writing paper, the EB monogram, their coat of arms. The crime was committed before midnight.
Holmes, how can you possibly tell?
Well, it is all thanks to Lestrade. He wrote his letter at 3:30 in the morning. Imagine the chain of events before that. The local police had to be called in. Scotland Yard was notified. Lestrade himself had to make haste there, and finally composed the letter he sent to me. All of that makes for a fair night's work.
It makes sense. Lestrade also speaks of the woman he released.
That seems to indicate that she had been held somewhere during the crime. Much time has been wasted. Let us find a cab and go to Abbey Grange immediately. I live in hope of an interesting morning.
Abbey Grange. Okay, fahren wir zu Abbey Grange. Leitungen haben wir noch nicht.
Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson, here you are. I'm very glad that you have come, but perhaps I should not have troubled you after all.
And why is that?
Lady Brackenstall has come to her senses, and she has given so clear an account of the affair that there is not much left for us to do. You remember that Lewisham gang of burglars?
What, the three Randalls?
Exactly. The father and two sons. It's their work. They stole a silver service, which is of great value.
Sir Eustace Brackenstall is dead, then?
Yes. His head was knocked in with his own poker.
A violent act of aggression.
Yes, the poor lady. She has had a most dreadful experience. She was assaulted and tied to a chair. But I think that you would best see her and hear her account of the facts. She's in the morning room with her maid, Teresa Wright.
Where is the body of the deceased?
In the dining room. We haven't touched anything.
All right, I'm going to examine it.
Very good, Watson. Sir Warthen Brackenstall.
Der sieht aus wie Rasputin.
Lord George Brackenstall.
Sind hier noch mehr? Ach, da hinten ist noch einer. Da sind noch mehrere.
Lord Ramsay Brackenstall.
Die ganze Mischpoke. Na. Oh. Habe ich das gestern verstellt? Die Steuerung von diesem Spiel ist wirklich... Oh. Das kann doch nicht wahr sein. Verpiss dich, Inspektor Lestrade. Jetzt komme ich an das Bild nicht ran. Das gibt's doch gar nicht.
Lady Brackenstall awaits you in
Oh,
the morning.
Mann, shut up. Oh, die Steuerung. Oh.
Lord Brigham Brackenstall.
Und noch einer.
Baron Lyndon Brackenstall. The Brackenstall family seems rather austere.
Lady Brackenstall awaits you in the morning.
Ah, wie schön. Was hier?
Lady Brackenstall awaits you in the morning.
Ja, mein Gott, da steht da nichts dran an den Türen. Der latscht wieder.
Ladies, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting Inspector Lestrade in this investigation.
Mr. Holmes, I am the wife of Sir Eustace Brackenstall. We were married only a year ago.
I am sorry for your loss. Please accept my deepest condolences.
I suppose that it is no use my attempting to conceal that our marriage has not been a happy one. I fear that all would tell you that, even if I were to attempt to deny it.
Einer fehlt noch.
Can you describe to me the events of yesterday evening?
Is it really necessary? I have already told Inspector Lestrade all that happened.
Yes, madam, it is.
I will tell you then. Sir Eustace retired about 10:30. I sat in this room until after 11, absorbed in a book. Before I went upstairs, I entered the dining room to fetch a candle and... oh God.
Please, go on.
As I approached the French window, I found myself face to face with an elderly, broad-shouldered man who had just stepped into the room. Close behind the first man, I saw two others. One of them struck me a savage blow with his fist and felled me unconscious to the ground.
And then?
When I came to myself, I found that they had secured me tightly to a dining room chair. It was at that instant my unfortunate husband entered the room.
He fought with the intruders?
Yes, I think he had heard them, for he was holding his stick. But they were three, and he eventually succumbed. One of them, the elder one, struck him a terrible blow with the poker. I fainted once more. When I opened my eyes, they had withdrawn. Then my brave Teresa came to my assistance.
Did these three villains steal anything?
Yes, I found that they had taken the silver from the sideboard, but you can see for yourself in the dining room.
You mentioned that your marriage was not a happy one. Was there anything specific that was troubling you?
He was not a nice man when he was drunk, and he suffered from dark moods, but nothing else.
The bruises on your hands are at least 1 week old. Your husband caused those bruises?
Oh, do you? Yes, he did. He was very angry at the time. Out of control. Again. Sir Eustace was a drunkard. To be tied to such a man for life is worse than death.
Your ladyship?
Okay, was müssen wir jetzt machen? Charakterporträts. Untersuchen Sie die Tatort im Esszimmer. Wo ist das Esszimmer? Tisch untersuchen. Okay.
The description of the Randall gang provided by Lady Brackenstall is identical to the one in the Times article.
Wenn wir mal hier nochmal gucken.
A trapper's hut.
Na, stolpert der schon wieder. Wie ein Dödel.
This photograph of Lady Brackenstall and her maid Teresa was taken at a port, but which one?
Putsch und putsch.
So the lady and her maid came from Australia a year and a half ago on this ship.
Ich habe das gestern geändert und da ging es einigermaßen und heute ist wieder alles so fürchterlich. Oh, das macht mich ganz wirre. Was soll ich jetzt aufspüren? Hier gibt es nichts zum Aufspüren. Mehr. Achso. Ich kann meine erste Herleitung machen. Aber man gucke sich das mal an, ey.
Teresa, I would
Das
like to
macht
hear
mich
your
irre.
testimony.
certainly so.
Altersfalten. Oh Gott, ist der nett. Ups. Kaffee weg. Hier geht's nicht weiter. Muss ich hier nochmal gucken. Einer fehlt mir noch. Fehlt hier ein Knopf. Ich will den letzten noch finden. Ich muss den finden. Mann! Nichts mehr. Halt! Da. Okay.
As I sat by my bedroom window, I saw 3 men in the moonlight down by the lodge gate. But I thought nothing of it at the time. If I'd known...
And then?
I went to bed, and it was more than an hour after that I heard my mistress scream. And down I ran, to find her tied to the chair and him on the floor with his head smashed. That's all I know.
Oh Gott, das macht mich wahnsinnig. Ich habe die Stickempfindlichkeit runtergeschraubt. Soll ich die ganz rausnehmen oder was? Hier waren wir doch schon. Wo ist denn jetzt das Esszimmer? Hier gibt es kein Esszimmer. Hier gibt es keinen Toten. Bild, 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 Tür, Tür, Tür. Wo ist denn die Leiche?
The body is still in the dining room where the murder took place.
Ja, super. Wo ist denn das Esszimmer? Ah. Oh mein Gott.
You should examine the body of Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
Oh, hier gibt's ja viel. Wo ist die Leiche? Da ist die Leiche.
So, Watson, what have you learned from examining Sir Eustace's body?
Well, I can confirm that the death was instant. Sir Eustace was facing his attacker when he received the blow to his head. There are no other apparent injuries.
The head was cracked with the force of the blow.
War hier noch was?
That must be the murder weapon. Quite a large stick, a formidable weapon. Barefoot, he had therefore been in bed and did not have time to fully dress.
Füße? Okay. Jetzt gucken wir mal. So. Okay. Das ist ja logisch. Nee, das meine ich nicht. Ich wollte das. Das Gefühl habe ich nämlich. Jo. Okay. Sehr gut. Jetzt sollten die noch untersuchen, habe ich die Leichen untersucht? Nein, doch. Ja. Mehr gibt's da nicht. Kopf habe ich. Hände ist nichts. Stock habe ich. Schlappen habe ich. Füße. Okay. Dann gucken wir mal, was wir hier noch alles machen. Untersuchen wir den Tatort im Dingens. Oh, jetzt wäre ich wahnsinnig.
A deer hunt. A fur trader's cabin.
You should examine the body of Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
Haben wir schon. macht mich wahnsinnig, dieses Gezappele.
A fur trader's cabin.
Okay.
The hunting scene. This door leads to the upstairs bedrooms. Apparently the criminals did not venture there. These wine bottles are expensive and mostly from France.
Flasche untersuchen, Flasche untersuchen, Flasche untersuchen.
This candlestick is valuable. It is interesting that it was not also stolen. An empty silverware box. It appears that the intruders have stolen the contents.
Kerzenständer haben wir schon. Muss ich die Geschwindigkeit also auf 0 stellen? Keine Ahnung.
A decanter standing next to the open bottle. An inseparable pair indeed. This glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. There is beeswing at the bottom, as if the wine had not been decanted before being poured. This glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. It is rather strange that only one of these glasses has dregs of beeswing inside it, while the other 2 are clear. Chateau Calon-Ségur, French wine, Grand Cru. Antique hunting weapons.
Hunting Weapons.
The hunting scene.
Gibt's da hier überall. Und die schrecklichen Tierköpfe.
A hunter's cabin.
Ew. Oh, nee.
A trapper's hut. A trapper's hut. A trapper's hut.
Und die Lady? Das Bild kann man nicht untersuchen? Oh Gott. Nee, ich will auch nicht mit Watson reden. Ich will weiter kicken, was die Kinder untersuchen muss. Oh Gott. Das Bild habe ich untersucht.
A hunter scene. The Brackenstall family appeared to be preoccupied with hunting.
Kaminsitzhammer, Tischhammer. Untersuchen Sie den Tatort im Esszimmer. Okay, den Tisch haben wir untersucht. Oh, Watson, steh nicht im Weg rum. Was haben wir jetzt? Okay, was gibt's denn hier noch? Muss ja irgendwo angekommen sein. Sollte man annehmen. Okay. Hier kann man nichts machen. Oh Gott. Schöner Brunnen. Ja, sehr schön. Was ist man jetzt? Ach, da wieder. Da wieder. Sehr gut. Hier sind wir nicht fertig. Mal die Fenster öffnen. Jagdwaffen. Uhr. Den habe ich doch untersucht. Warum ist der nicht grün? Kerzenständer, Kerzenständer, Kerzenständer. Wein, 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 Wein. Ich finde hier nichts mehr, was ich untersuchen kann. Tür habe ich untersucht, Bild habe ich untersucht. Aber bei dem Gezappele kann man ja nichts untersuchen. Das Bild habe ich untersucht. Ja. Die Leiche habe ich auch untersucht. Kaminsens, so, da mal näher. Oh Gott. Zippel, zappel, zippel, zappel. Ich weiß wirklich nicht, was ich hier noch untersuchen soll. Ah, den Stuhl. Jo. Ach ja, stimmt ja.
Sailor's knots. That's interesting. This rope was handled by the murderers. We need a scent hound to follow their trail. I will take it with me. This is the chair that Lady Brackenstall was tied to.
Jo. Tobi holen. Ab in die Baker Street und Tobi holen. Aha, Tobis Einsatz. Crime and Punishments. Er liest sein eigenes Buch. Sir Toby.
Come on, Toby. We need the best nose in the British Empire on this case.
The best.
Someone should take Toby for a walk.
Ja, Tobi. Tobi geht jetzt mit zum Tatort. Ist der süß. Toby.
Search, Toby.
Siehst du? Holmes rufen. Oh, Holmes. Och, der Tobi. Holmes rufen. Ich dachte schon, Tobi kann die Türen öffnen. Kann er nicht.
The intruders entered the shed for some reason when they were making off with the silverware.
Da geht's weiter. Der kleine Hund, der bessert. Schnüffeln.
The scent leads to the well. I should check it.
Und wo geht er jetzt? Was ist hier? Ah, jetzt geht's dann hier lang. Tobi ist noch nicht fertig. Tobi schnüffelt noch. Und nun sind wir hier an der Mauer. Schnüffel.
The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall.
Thank you,
The
Tobi.
criminals left the house through the French window. They walked to the shed, then across to the well, before fleeing by climbing over the wall. I wonder why they chose such a winding route. Brave Toby, the best nose in the British Empire.
Der ist süß. Okay. So, jetzt gehen wir mal. Gehen wir mal ins. An den Brunnen.
There's something glittering at the bottom there, but how can I reach it?
Halt.
I need a hook. If only I had something with which I could lift that object.
Okay.
If only I had something with which I could
Okay,
lift
jetzt
that
müssen wir erstmal ins
object.
Schuppen gehen. In den Schuppen gehen. Wo ist denn der Schuppen? Ja, die Gegenstände findet man garantiert im Schuppen. Wenn ich mich nicht wieder dauernd verlaufen würde. Wie war der Schuppen nicht? Sir Toby ist hier raus. Und dann... Wo ist er denn lang? Hier lang? Da ist der Brunnen. Aber wo ist denn jetzt der blöde Schuppen? Hallo, Sir Toby. Ja, da ist er doch. Da ist er doch. Da müssen wir noch rennen.
This old suitcase sounds hollow. It must be empty. Small gardening tools, nothing of great interest. Bags of seed. Some empty bags were recently moved.
Natürlich findet man nicht das, was wir brauchen. Doch, da ist der Haken.
This hook might be useful.
Okay, jetzt zurück zum Brunnen. Ja, ich weiß, was ich tun muss. Da ist der Brunnen. So, jetzt nehmen wir den Haken.
If only I had something with which I could lift that object.
Haken.
Silverware. This is hardly a coincidence. The Brackenstall coat of arms. It appears that we have found the stolen silverware.
Nee. Wieso habe ich denn den Täter identifiziert? Genau, das würde ich sagen. Aber wissen tut man es nicht. Okay. Zeit für ein Break.